Bridget held her xyloflute close as she cleared her throat. "I could play a song for him," she offered quietly to the group, who continued about their debate as though she hadn't uttered a word. She took a deep breath and tried again. I could play a song for the mayor when he comes." Though one person glanced over, still nobody responded, instead furthering the argument they had now been having for over 2 hours. Feeling not a little upset, Bridget squeezed her only source of comfort even tighter. "You've got to speak up for yourself," a voice whispered behind her. "I've heard you play. You're wonderful, and the mayor would love it." Bridget turned to see Mr. Figweed nodding a kind smile to her. "Go on." He motioned for her to move closer to the arguing children. They, oblivious to her existence, shouted ideas over one another. Her classmates never had been the best at the listening part of a conversation. It was always strange to Bridget that people clearly understood the importance of listening, as they asked for it all the time, but very rarely did they do it themselves. The problem was, Bridget was not very good at asking to be listened to. She stepped back, closer to Mr. Figweed. I don't think I can." Her antennae drooped as she gave in to the fear. Mr. Figweed perched next to her. "I have an idea." He moved closer and whispered to her. As he did, her eyes grew wider and the beginnings of a smile snuck onto her face. She nodded and raised her xyloflute to her mouth. Mr. Figweed stepped back to give her space and counted her in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bridget's vocal sac bulged as she drew in breath. She forced it all through her instrument and blasted her song for all to hear. The debate was silenced as all of the children turned, mouths agape, to see where the melody was coming from. Some cheered, some clapped, some just smiled, but it did not go unnoticed by Bridget that all listened.